Have you ever walked away from a conversation, a keynote, or a team meeting thinking to yourself, I nailed it, only to find out that no one took action? That's because just saying something doesn't mean it was received. You can be confident, charismatic, and even clever and still completely unclear. In this episode of Backstage, I'll show you how to use the CLEAR method, a proven framework to help you communicate in a way that connects, lands, and drives action. If you're a founder, pastor, content creator, or a developing leader, you can't afford to miss this episode. Summer 2009, I'm at Iowa State taking a speech class while training for the upcoming football season. First speech I ever gave. AC was broken, windows were open, fans are humming. I was sweating from the nerves and the workout that I had just come from. It was hot, uncomfortable, a total train wreck. That speech did not go well by any means, but it lit a fire inside of me. Because here's what I've learned after 17 years of communicating. George Bernard Shaw said it best. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it's taken place. Oh, isn't that so good? Just because you say it doesn't mean they heard it. Just because they heard it doesn't mean they understood it. And just because they understood it doesn't mean that they'll act on it. That's why clever is so overrated and clear is king. Dave Ramsey said, it's unkind to be unclear. I'll say it this way. Clarity isn't just kind, it's the catalyst for people taking action. So let's break this down. The CLEAR method is an acronym, 5 principles that will help you communicate in a way that connects, sticks, and sparks action. Let's start with the first letter, C. CLEAR connects. John Maxwell said, many communicate, few connect. You ever share something with your team and get blank stares or robotic nods? Friends, that is disconnection at its best. And it's costing both you and I. Once I gave a leadership talk and halfway through, I realized what I was sharing was not landing with the audience. Like no one was paying attention. Now I had prepped. I thought it was a topic that they needed, but one thing was missing. Connection. I failed to ask the most important question. What does the room need from me? This powerful question takes you and I out of performance mode and into presence mode. It's a subtle shift, but it could make the difference between connecting with the room or not. Connection is the prerequisite for transformation. Let this be your reminder. We don't need more communicators. We need more connectors. You don't just need to be clever, you need to be clear. So remember, C is for clear connects because transformation starts with connection. Let's move to the second letter, L, learn your audience. I learned this lesson the hard way. I remember connecting with an executive after one of my first keynotes in the corporate space. His feedback to me was that he didn't feel like I took the time to get to know their organization as well as I could have. He wasn't mean about it, but he was being honest. He was being constructive, and I'm so thankful for his feedback. So many communicators focus on being interesting when we really need to be focused on being interested. We have to ask questions like, what do they value? What language do they speak? What keeps them up at night? What problems are they facing? See, when you learn your audience, you stop using them to feed your own ego and you start serving them with precision. We begin to communicate what we want for people, not what we want from them. When you don't take the time to learn your audience, they don't take the time to listen to you. When they're falling asleep because you didn't prepare right, someone ought to come slap you. So remember, L is for learn your audience because understanding earns you influence. Now let's go to the third principle, E, emotion moves. Data informs, emotion transforms. We don't remember facts, we remember how someone made us feel. I gave 2 versions of the same talk, one with stats, one with stories. Guess which one moved people to action? Yes, it was not the one with the pie charts, let me tell you. I like to say this, story is the language of humanity, so tell stories. When telling stories, there are 2 kinds of stories that you can tell. The first one is a lived story. This is from your own life, from your own experience. The second one is a learned story from books, history, or mentors. I also want to give you a few tips if you want to grow in helping people feel something when you speak. Number one, speak with anticipation. John Maxwell says, when you can't wait to say it, they can't wait to hear it. Number two, you got to speak with tone fluctuation. I like to say this, tone is a tool. Learn how and when to switch it up to evoke emotion in an authentic way. Because I say this, your authority is in your authenticity. And number three, speak with conviction. That word conviction means to be convinced. The stronger you believe it, the more people will feel it. So remember, E is for emotion moves because feelings fuel follow through. Let's move to the next letter, A. Ask 3 questions before speaking. Every great message needs a destination. These 3 questions will help you map out where you're taking your audience. Before I speak, whether it's on Zoom, a sermon, a keynote, a talk I'm giving to our team, I ask these 3 questions that I learned from Craig Groeschel. Number 1, what do I want them to know? Number 2, what do I want them to do? And number 3, what do I want them to feel? When I first started speaking, I didn't ask these questions. And what was misty in me was always foggy in the audience. I used to try to rely on my charisma to carry me until one day it didn't. I drifted. I got lost. I confused the audience. Remember this truth. You can't deliver what you haven't developed. You can wing it or work for it. And you might be good at winging it, but you will never be great unless you work for it. You show that you care when you prepare. So remember, A is for ask 3 questions before speaking because clarity starts before you ever speak. Let's land the plane with the final letter R. Repeat to retain. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. Early on, I overloaded people. Too many points, too much content. They left inspired, but didn't know what to do next. Now I work hard to keep things simple. Now I don't always do it, but my goal is to repeat the one thing I want them to remember at the open, in the middle, and again at the end. Because what gets repeated gets retained. Repetition is what makes it sticky. Mark Twain said it like this: the difference between the almost right word and the right word is the lightning bug and the lightning. Here's a pro tip for helping making it sticky. Use phrasing that rhymes or is sticky. The right phrasing creates echoes. Your job isn't just to teach, but to transform, and that won't happen unless they retain what you teach. It's impossible to take action on something that you don't remember. So remember, R is for repeat to retain because what's repeated is what's remembered. We were on family vacation in Siesta Key. My kids were 7, 6, and 3. We've been at the beach all day, sunburned, sandy, tired. I mean, we're from the Midwest and that Florida heat is different. So we leave the beach. I'm carrying all the stuff, umbrellas, chairs, coolers. My 3-year-old Royce kept stopping and crying about every 10 steps. So we finally get back to the car, but it was an oven. The AC hadn't kicked in. We were hungry. Tension was high. So I looked at my wife and I said, I'm ordering Chipotle so that we can pick it up on the way home. Everyone was melting down, having a fit. And finally, Royce yelled from the back, my 3-year-old, can we just get the hell out of here? I looked at my wife thinking, he must have learned that from you. But then it hit me, nope, she doesn't talk like that. So I asked the kids, I'm like, where did you learn that? And the 2 older kids shouted, Grandma. Later, I was in a room giving a talk to a bunch of leaders and I shared that story. I told them, Royce was hot. He was hungry. He was uncomfortable. He wanted out. And so often when life gets hot and hard, so do we. You can have comfort or growth, but you can't have both. What if the discomfort that you're in isn't here to destroy you, but to develop you? What if this season is refining you for the next one? Don't run from it, lean in. After that session, a CEO who was in the room came up to me and said, I was ready to quit, but now I know I need to stay. This season is shaping me and preparing me for the future. I share that story because that's the power of clear communication. Not just being heard, but being felt. not just being listened to, but being followed, not just speaking, but sparking action. And just like I promised at the beginning, you now have a practical framework for communicating clearly. C, clear connects. L, learn your audience. E, emotion moves. A, ask 3 questions before speaking. And R, repeat to retain. I want to ask you, which one hit home most? Would you drop it in the comments below? And if this helped you, would you help someone else by sharing it? Maybe like it, comment, and subscribe, because we're going to keep creating more content like this. And hey, I created a free Notion template for you that's in the description below. I've developed some frameworks and I've learned some frameworks and I put them all together so that you can crush your next message. Just grab it in the description below, because here it is, friends. Clarity is kindness and communication is leadership. I want you to keep fighting for clarity. Thanks for leaning in with me today. I hope you got a little bit better. Let's keep growing. And until next time, go lead different.